Well, hello, welcome again to a read through of Iliad 22, and I got up to line 367. So there's that typical era, thus he spoke. I'll just mention again the A, of course, is from that old verb aimi, which is not used very often. It survives in Attic in the expression eidahos, which you'll see commonly in Plato. So thus he spoke, and Erusator, he drew the bronze spear from the corpse, and in fact Ethacen from Tithami, he placed it aside, he put it aside. But he, Esula, literally robbed the tuka, the armour, from his shoulders, which was haimatoenta, covered in blood. But the others, the sons of the Achaians, Peridremon from Peritreco, they ran around. And so the sons of the Achaians, who also, they Santa, were amazed at something like the form, the stature, and the beautiful appearance of Hektor, or perhaps admirable for agaeton. It's connected with that ag root again of admiring. You get agamai, to admire, so that admirable beauty of Hektor. Nor was anyone, in fact, standing there nuteti hoi, without probably hoi goes probably with the verb here. So nor was there anyone standing beside him who did not stab him without stabbing him. This is alpha probative with a linking nu, and there is a verb utao, to stab. So this is an adverb here. It's only here. There's variant readings here as well, but the meaning is without stabbing. So nor was there anyone standing beside him, in fact, who did not stab him. Hodi, and thus, so here, or almost at this point, someone, a pesken, there's that iterative form with the script, an aorist iterative, and in this way, someone would say, looking, as plesion alon, looking to another one nearby, looking to his neighbour, he would say, "Oh, popoi," again, hard to translate that word. It's a term of amazement. E malade malakoteros, amphaphasthai. It's a funny verb here. It's probably amphi, I think, and then the rest of it here is probably connected with somehow with the verb hapto, to touch. Oh, indeed, he is by far very much softer to touch. So the sense is that now that his armour's taken off, his skin is soft and easy to penetrate with the spear. So they're all standing around stabbing him. It's quite a grotesque scene at this point, I think. Hektor. So that's the subject of it. So Hektor is very much softer to touch than when en epresen from empipremi, when he set fire to the ships with kaleopuri, with burning or blazing fire. The ka here is probably connected with kaio, that verb burning, the k here. So Hektor, of course, set fire to the ships back in book 16, lines 112 to 129. So Hektor was much softer to touch than when he set fire to the ships with the blazing fire. Hos aratisk, and then Homer closes off that little aside there. So thus would someone say, or thus was someone saying, And we get another iterative, and there's that verb utao here. Thus someone standing beside him would say, and he would stab him. And glorious Achilles, swift of foot, so when he had when he had taken off his armour, when he had despoiled him, it's an old word there, I think it's a sense of taken away his armour, having stood among the Achaians, he addressed them with winged words. O Philoi, O my friends, Hegeteros Eidimedontes, leaders and rulers of the Argives. Since, indeed, the gods, Edo probably have granted it, understand to me, to tame this man, who, Erexen from Resdo, who did many evil things, as many as, so this means more than all the others. It's literally as many as all the others did not do. So we paraphrase it, more than all the others. Agate, this is that sort of come on now, I think, sense. The A here is almost like an interjection, so come now. Now this next little section is quite odd, and it kind of brings down the tension a little bit, because Achilles now begins to talk about let's go and attack Troy, but then says, well, hang on, no, perhaps we shouldn't do that just yet, we've got to go and look after Patroclus. So he says, come now, this is a funny form here, let us make an attempt on. It is in fact an aorist passive subjunctive, but it's got active meaning, I think, here. So, so come now, let us make an attempt around the city, along with our weapons, with our perhaps armour or perhaps weapons almost, chukesi. So that, offer with ken and subjunctive, so that we might know further the intention of the Trojans, the intention which, whatever they might have. So it's hon, in later Greek you put this as one word, but it's whatever intention they might have. We paraphrase the whole line, so that we might know further whatever intention the Trojans have. So not on his mind, of course, but in the sense here, what are they going to do now? Either, so we get an A and A, either they will leave the high city, genitive absolute, now that this man has fallen, or do they desire, or are they keen, from mema'asin, to remain, and then we get Kai, even though Hektor is no longer alive. Literally, Hektor no longer being. So now that Hektor is no longer alive, do they plan to? Are they keen to remain there? Do they desire to remain there? We've had this verb before. It's got a range of meanings. It's connected with an old non-existent verb ma'o, which doesn't occur, but we get this perfect form mema'a. Ala tie moi tautophilos dialexitothumos. But why does my dear heart, or just my heart, depending on how you take philos, debate these things? So why does my dear heart, or why does my own thumos debate these things? For, not sorry, for, it's pa, not ga. It'd be nice if it was gar, in fact, but it's not, it's pa. So it's really a question there. Why does my heart debate these things? And a new sentence, Patroclus lies beside the ships, a corpse, unwept over and unburied. So this, of course, is alpha privative, the clow from Clio to weep, and athaptos from thapto to bury. So these are easy roots to spot. But I will not forget him, takes a genitive, of course, from epilanthanamai. Ophran, ego, so oisi metio. Now metio is from metami. It's a subjunctive after ophran. So it's a present, first person present subjunctive. It's an ionic form, and it's from metami. So whilever I am present among the living, and my dear knees, neuter plural singular verb, urge me on, drive me on. So in other words, we would do this first bit, the second bit first. So whilever I am among the living, and my dear knees drive me on, I will not forget him. Not if, in fact, well, the A goes with the pair here, possibly for chi pair. So it's even if, or sort of although, they forget the dead in Hades. So the sense is, even though in the house of Hades, so it's genitive here, you've got to put the house in. So even in the house of Hades, they understand the dead, forget the dead. But even so, I will remember, sorry, even there, I will remember my dear comrade. So though in the house of Hades, they, the dead, forget the dead, nevertheless, or even so, perhaps nevertheless, even there I will remember my dear comrade. Nun de ag, come now, singing a pie honour. So this is a paion. A paion is a victory song. So singing a victory song, sons of the Achaians, let us go, hortatory subjunctive, to the hollow ships, and let us lead, let us take along, Tondi, pointing to Hektor, this one. Eramatha mega kudos. This is from Arnumai, I think, or one of the, or perhaps Eramai. So it's something like, we have one great glory. No, hang on, sorry, Eramatha. Not sure the form of this one. It could be iro in the middle voice. It means to win in any sense. So we have one great glory, and we have slain. This is a interesting form. It's a reduplicated aorist. Interestingly, he says we in both places here, but it's been he who's done all the work. But it says we have won great glory. We have slain glorious Hektor. So this is a reduplicated aorist with an augment as well from an old obsolete verb pheno. You just get the root fen or fin in Homer. So in whom the whom the Trojans, the main verb is here, it was taking a dative, so whom the Trojans used to venerate, used to hold in high regard, about the city, hos theo, and the host is going with the theo, like a god. Era, thus he spoke, and Medeto, he devised, well, shameful or mutilating, horrible, ghastly works for glorious Hektor. Now, interestingly, in Sophocles' Ajax, Achilles actually ties Hector to the chariot while he's still alive. At least in Homer, it's a little bit less ghastly. He's actually dead by this stage. So thus he spoke, and he devised, well, almost mutilating or terrible, ghastly works, ghastly deeds for glorious Hector. And we get a description now of how he's going to do that. So it's amphoteron, metopis, podon, tetrainer, tenonte. That's a dual there. The tetrainer is from tetrino, to perforate, to make holes through. So it's something like he made holes through the two tendons, it's a dual, the two tendons of both feet from the back, spheron from the ankle into the patene is the heel, so from the ankle, into the ankle from the heel, and ex 18, this is from that hapto, and he fastened them with ox hide, or perhaps you can say leather, because it's made from oxen, with leather straps. So a little bit tricky, that bit there. So just to do it again, he made holes through the two tendons of both feet from the back, into the ankle from the heel, and he fastened it with leather straps. Ec defroio de deci, and this is from deo. So he tied him up from the difros. This is actually the seat of the chariot, but often just rendered the chariot. Iasin from iao, he allowed his head, hel kesthai, to be dragged, probably passive here. So he allowed his head to be dragged. Es difron danabas. Again, notice the nice patterns here. We get ek difroio and es difron. So he got up into the chariot, and the ana goes with the iras, iro, and he lifted up onto the chariot, understood, the famous armour, mastixen, and he whipped, understand, the horses, elaans, infinitive from elao, to drive. So he whipped the horses to action. And the two of them flew off not unwillingly. Kornisalos, so a cloud of dust, or a dust cloud, there was a dust cloud from him as he was being dragged, amphidekaitai, and around him his hair, which was kuarnei, which was dark, pitnanto. And this is from pitnami, which is another form, is connected with petanumi, to spread out. So round about his dark hair spread out, and all his head lay in the dust, his head which was previously carrion, beautiful, neuter agreeing with carre. And at that time, this is very, very moving lines here, at that time Zeus allowed, or handed him, or gave him to his enemies, Aikisasthai, to be disfigured or to be mutilated in his personal adjective, in his fatherland. So at this stage, Zeus just washes his hands of the situation and lets this proceed. And that is the next part of Book 22.